Good evening, this is Santa Claus on January 6, 2025, bringing you today's stories on this day of historical significance. As we gather around our metaphorical fireplace to share the day's news, I'm reminded that on this very day in 1066, following Edward the Confessor's passing, Harold Godwinson was crowned King of England, beginning a succession crisis that led to the Norman Conquest. And just 4 years ago, we witnessed troubling events at the United States Capitol that remind us of how precious and fragile democracy can be. Now, my friends, tensions are brewing in East Asia, where China has imposed export controls on items with military uses to Japan. This came after Japan's prime minister made remarks about Taiwan that China found concerning. The economic consequences were immediate, with futures contracts on Japan's Nikkei falling about 1%. In times of disagreement between neighbors, I've always found that open dialogue and understanding work better than restrictive measures. May cooler heads prevail in this situation. Meanwhile, across the globe, concerning developments are unfolding in the Americas. Colombia's foreign minister has stated their military must defend against any potential U.S. invasion after President Trump made threatening comments similar to those preceding recent events in Venezuela. My heart is heavy whenever I hear talk of military action rather than peaceful resolution. Let us remember that every person involved in such conflicts is someone's child, someone's loved one. Speaking of Venezuela, there has been a significant leadership change there. Vice President Delcy Rodríguez, who has connections to the oil industry, appears to be stepping into a leadership role following U.S. forces' capture of President Nicolás Maduro. The situation reminds us of the complex interplay between politics, economics, and international relations. May the Venezuelan people find stability and prosperity in these uncertain times. Turning our gaze northward, President Trump has suggested that Cuba may be the next target of U.S. intervention, claiming the island nation is ready to fall now that it has lost income from Venezuelan oil. Such statements raise concerns about further military actions in the region. Let us pray for diplomatic solutions that protect innocent lives and respect the sovereignty of nations. On another international front, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has affirmed that only Denmark and Greenland can decide the future of the Arctic island, responding to suggestions of U.S. annexation. This show of respect for sovereignty is heartening. After all, we must respect one another's homes and territories, just as we would want others to respect our own. In more hopeful news, China and Ireland are working to deepen their cooperation in various sectors. Irish Prime Minister Micheál Martin has been discussing trade, particularly in beef and dairy, during his visit to Beijing. Such diplomatic engagement and trade discussions remind us that nations can work together for mutual benefit, even when political differences exist. There's also significant news from India, where Reliance Industries has announced it's not expecting any Russian crude oil deliveries in January. This follows warnings from President Trump about raising import tariffs on India over its Russian oil purchases. The interconnected nature of our global economy means decisions in one part of the world ripple outward to affect many others. In a development that has shaken intelligence circles, the capture of Venezuela's leader has dealt a significant blow to Cuba's intelligence services, which had been protecting him. Sadly, reports indicate that 32 Cuban officers lost their lives in the operation. Each life is precious, and I mourn any loss of life in conflicts around the world. In East Africa, Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sarah has visited Somaliland, a move denounced by Somalia. Israel recently recognized Somaliland's declaration of independence, becoming the only country to do so. Such complex diplomatic situations remind us that questions of sovereignty and recognition often involve deep historical and cultural dimensions that deserve thoughtful consideration. On a more hopeful note for Ukraine, President Zelensky has appointed former Canadian Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland as an economic advisor. Ms. Freeland believes Ukraine's post-war economic development could rival the economic booms seen in Western Europe after World War II. Even in times of conflict, planning for rebuilding and renewal is essential, a reminder that hope for a better tomorrow must never be extinguished. Finally, in U.S. political news, Republican Congressman Doug LaMalfa has passed away, further narrowing the GOP's House majority. In this time of loss, I extend my heartfelt condolences to his family, friends, and constituents. Each person who devotes their life to public service, regardless of party, deserves our respect and gratitude. As we reflect on today's news, let us remember that in every challenge lies an opportunity for compassion, in every conflict a chance for peacemaking, and in every divided community a call for unity. May we all strive to be bearers of goodwill and kindness in our own corners of the world. This is Santa Claus, wishing you peace and hope on this January evening.